Constructive programs. Constructive programs is a term coined by Gandhi. It describes non-violent action taken within the community to build structures, systems, processes, or resources that are positive alternatives to oppressions. It can be seen as self-improvement of both community and individual. Through constructive program, Gandhiji was preparing the masses for the post-independence India. Constructive program is also called as constructions of Purna Swaraj or complete independence. Communal unity. Gandhiji strove hard throughout his life to bring communal unity. Everybody is agreed about the necessity of this unity, but everybody does not know that unity does not mean political unity, which may be imposed. It means an unbreakable heart unity. The first thing essential for achieving such unity is for every man, whatever his religion may be, to represent in his own persons Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, etc. Shortly, every Hindus and non-Hindus. It simply means living with unity and mutual reciprocity beyond class, caste, creed, religion, and gender barriers. Communal harmony means that people of different religion, caste, creed, sex, and different background live together in a society with love and peace among them. Gandhiji aimed to cultivate a personal contact and friendship among peoples of different faith. The major communal disunity in India existed on the basis of religion, and he was always against it. Gandhiji wanted unity among the citizens regardless of caste, religion, caste, etc.
Removal of untouchability. Untouchability is the practice of ostracizing of a group of people regarded as untouchables, resulting in the segregation and persecution from the people regarded as higher caste. Mahatma Gandhi called untouchables as Harijans, which means children of God, and long work for their emancipation. In 1932, Gandhi founded the Harijan Sevak Sangh as a part of his effort to eradicate the concept of untouchability from Indian caste system. Gandhi held that untouchability was a blot and curse upon Hinduism. It was an age old social evil which had to be removed to establish social equality in society. Gandhi endeavored to abolish this evil. He started the Harijan newspaper to explain his ideas to the people and traveled through the country to raise the fund for Harijan. Gandhi first expected the members of Harijan Sevak Sangh to remove the last trace of untouchability from their own heart. Removal of untouchability was an inevitable and most important task because without social equality, it was not possible to bring Swaraj.
Mahatma Gandhi believed that the consumption of alcohol was a major social evil. He encouraged complete prohibition in India. With this in mind, the framers of the Constitution of India included Article 47 in the Directive Principles of State Policy, which reads, "The state shall endeavour to bring about prohibition of the use except for medicinal purposes of intoxicating drinks and of drugs which are injurious to health." In Gandhi's scheme of constructive program, prohibition was a vital social and moral reform. Gandhi attached much importance to this because the people in villages and cities would be incapable of moral effort which was necessary for satyagraha unless they were free from the grip of intoxicants. He also felt that women and students had a special opportunity to advance this reform. By acts of loving service, they could acquire on addicts a hold which would compel them to listen to the appeal to give up the evil habit. He suggested that Congress committee could open recreation booths for tired laborers where they can rest, get healthy and cheap refreshments and also find suitable games. This was a novel and non-violent approach towards Swaraj. In his effort to build non-violent social order, Gandhi did not want to wait for or depend on the government. He directly dealt with the people and their problems and tried to arouse people's inner dormant strength and capacity through such programs. He believed that constructive workers could make legal prohibition easy and successful. Gandhi felt so strongly about this addiction that he said if he was made a dictator for even some time, he would first make a law for prohibition.
Khadi. Gandhi presented Khadi as a symbol of nationalism, economic freedom, quality, and self reliance. It was his belief that reconstruction of the society and effective satyagraha against the foreign rule can be possible only through Khadi. Khadi is the core of the constructive activities or recommended by him. He called Khadi the son of the solar system of the village economy. According to him, there could be no Swaraj without universal and voluntary acceptance of Khadi. In his scheme of reconstruction for free India, villages should no longer depend on cities. In the task of village upliftment, he gave first priority to Khadi and other village industries. India being a country of agriculture, the farmers spend half the year without working illness. So Gandhi thought spinning was the best option for them as a productive activity. For Gandhi, spinning wheel was a symbol of identification with the poor. It was intimately related to basic requirements of millions. Example, food and clothing. He wanted them to be self-reliant. He believed that poverty led to moral degradation. Thus, with Charka, he wanted to help the unemployed and poor. Many of these tourists were proposed to organize and finance the spinning wheel movement. The spinning wheel was at time, one time the symbol of India's poverty and backwardness. Gandhi turned it into a symbol of self-reliance and non-violence. Gandhi enabled him to carry his message of Swadeshi and Swaraj to the people and to establish connection with them.
I am talk about other village industries. Gandhi preferred the recent decentralization of small unit of production to the concentration of the large scale unit in the few places. He wanted to carry the production unit in the homes of the masses, particularly in the village. Cottage and village industries help increasing employment. Gandhi said the other village industries stand apart from the Gandhi primarily because they do not involve in the voluntary labor in the large number. Those industries may continue as a handmaid of Gandhi, but they cannot exist without Gandhi. It may, however, be added that Gandhi did agree that the village economy could not be completed without the operation of the village industries. Those of hand grinding, hand pounding, soap making, paper making, tanning, oil pressing, and the other of this kind. What lay at the core of this thought was the urge to make the village of self-sufficient.
Village sanitation. Mahatma Gandhi said sanitation is more important than independence. He made cleanliness and sanitation an integral part of the Gandhian way of living. His dream was total sanitation for all. Cleanliness is more important for physical well being and a healthy environment. Lack of sanitation, which includes lack of cleanliness causing dirt and pollution, has not only vital economic consequences but also serious social consequences.
Basic education. This is a new subject, but the members of working committee felt so much interested in it that they gave a charter to the organization of the Hindustan Talim Sang, which has been functioning since the Haripur session. This is a big field of work for many congressmen. This education is meant to transform village children into modern villagers. It is principle designed for them. The villagers for it has come from the villagers. Foreign rule has, though nonetheless so, began with the children in the field of education. Primary education is a first designed without regard to the wants of the India of the village and for that matter even of the cities. Basic education like the children whether of the cities or the villages to all the best and lasting in India.
According to Mahatma Gandhi, adult education can be said as education for life, through life, or throughout the life. Adult education is necessary for the personal enrichment of people, effective participation in many areas like social, political, international level affairs, and the professional advancement. Adult education improves the individual peacefulness, enhances the working efficiency, leads towards the progress in life, strives in learning in society. According to Gandhi's educational philosophy, he said that the education of a person is the intellectual development and the physical development and the spiritual development. And he said that teach the villagers about the village arithmetic, the village geography, and the village history, and the literary knowledge that they must use daily, reading and writing the letters. They will treasure such knowledge and pass on to the other stages. They have no use for books which give them nothing for daily use. He transformed the 3Rs concept of education into 3Hs concept. The 3Rs are read, write, and arithmetic, and the 3Hs are hand, head, and heart. According to Gandhi, the function of education is not to teach how to read, write, and calculate, but to develop his hand, brain, and the heart also. He said that by education I mean all the round drawing out of the best in child and the man body, mind, and spirit.
Emancipation of women. In his mission of Swaraj, Gandhi needed the cooperation of women, kisans, laborers, and students. So he had planned to work amongst them through constitutive program, which was a concrete plan to generate awareness in them and get their support in the freedom struggle. He believed that the movement cannot succeed without the active participation of women. The movement of 1930 to 32 generated unprecedented awareness in women. It was only due to Gandhi's efforts that women came out of their houses for the first time in the history and participated in Indian political struggle. Gandhi wanted to give women equal status as of men. He believed that men should consider themselves as women's friends and co workers and not as their masters. He clarified that men are responsible for the suppressive state of women by custom and law. He said, in a plan of life based on non-violence, woman has as much right to shape her own destiny as man has to shape his. Gandhi wanted to change customary and legal status of women in order to put them on an equal footing with men. Education in health and hygiene. Gandhi gives equal weightage to health and hygiene, saying that ignorance and neglect of the laws of health and hygiene are responsible for the majority of our diseases. To keep our minds and bodies healthy, Gandhi suggests some rules to be observed, which include purity of air, water, and food, personal cleanliness and of surroundings, to maintain the balance between physical and mental work, to stand and sit erect, be neat and clean in every act, which must become an expression of our inner condition.
Provincial languages. According to Gandhi, our love of the English language in preference to our own mother tongue has caused a deep chasm between the educated and politically minded classes and the masses. The languages of India have suffered impoverishment. We flounder when we make the vain attempt to express abstract thought in the mother tongue. There are no equivalents for scientific terms. The result has been distress. The masses remain cut off from the modern mind. We are too near our own times correctly to measure the disservice caused to India by this neglect of its great languages. It is easy enough to understand that unless we undo the mischief, the mass mind must remain imprisoned. The masses can make no solid contribution to the construction of Swaraj. It is inherent in Swaraj, based on non-violence, that every individual makes his own direct contribution to the independence movement. The masses cannot do this fully unless they understand every step with all its implications. This is impossible unless every step is explained in their own languages. National languages. And then for all India intercourse, we need from among the Indian stock a language which the largest number of people already know and understand, and which the others can easily pick up. This language is indisputably Hindi. It is spoken and understood by both Hindus and Muslims of the north. It is called Urdu when it is written in the Urdu character. In 1925, the common man's language was called this All India speech Hindustani. And since that time, in theory at least, Hindustani has been the Rashtra Bhasha. In 1920, a deliberate attempt was begun to recognize the importance of Indian languages for the political education of the masses, as also of an all India common speech which politically minded India could easily speak and which people from the different provinces could understand at all India gatherings. Such national languages should enable one to understand and speak both forms of speech and write in both the scripts.
Economic equality. Of all the dimensions of equality, Gandhi focuses most on economic equality and sees economic equality as a basis of non-violence and freedom. He considered economic equality as a master key to non-violent independence. Working for economic equality means abolishing the eternal conflict between the capital and labor. It means the leveling down of a few rich in whose hands is concentrated the bulk of nation's wealth on one hand and leveling up of semi-starved naked millions on another. A non-violent system of government is clearly an impossibility so long as the wide gulf between the rich and hungry million persists. The contrast between the palaces of New Delhi and the miserable hovels of the poor labouring class nearby cannot last one day in a free India in which the poor will enjoy the same power as the richest in the land. According to Gandhi, violence stems from inequality, the wide gap that exists between the possessing and non-violence, and unless the root cause of violence is weeded out through non-violent means, one cannot rule out of possibility of violent revolution. In Gandhi's ideal society, there would be absolute equality of incomes for all the types of work for all individuals. Believing in a concept of bread labor and dignity of work, Gandhi insists the same amount of work in any occupation ought to be rewarded by the same amount of wages. Gandhi observed that if India is to live an exemplary life of independence, which would be envy of the world, that all the Benghis, doctors, lawyers, teachers, merchants and other would get the same wages for their honest day's work. Kisans. India being an agricultural country, Kisan are in majority in its population. Gandhi believed that if they are made conscious on their strength, no power on earth can resist them. The effective method of organizing Kisans is displayed by Gandhi's Kisan movement in Champaran, Kheda, Bardoli and Barsod. Gandhi was not a born Kisan, but he made every effort to become one. From boyhood, he loved to grow fruits.
Every afternoon, coming back from school, he carried buckets of water up on the terrace to water plants. At the age of 36, he began to live a peasant's life on a farm. Gandhi believed that the land should not belong to an individual or to a state. He believed that a farmer should have the amount of land in which he could subsist his daily earning honestly and live a life of dignity. The agriculture being practiced should be organic. As someone who understood the problems of farmers, Gandhi was against using them for power politics. Citing the success of his campaigns at Champaran, Gedda, Bardoli and Barsol, he wrote, "The secret of success lies in the refusal to exploit the Kisans for political purpose outside their own personal and felt grievances." He also advised against using the Congress name for those who are working for farmers but do not believe in non-violence.
Labour. Gandhi considers Ahmedabad Non-Violent Labour Union as a model for India to copy. The labour should have its own unions. The union should have its own schools, hospitals and crash for workers. It should also have maternity home, its own printing press, khadi depot and residential quarters. Moreover, the union should run right school for the general and scientific education of workers. They should teach the workers the science of conducting a successful trade. Besides, capital should be labour's servant and not the master. The aim of constructive program was to elevate the status of labour. Labour. Gandhi considers Ahmedabad Non-Violent Labour Union as a model for India to copy. The labour should have its own unions. The union should have its own schools, hospitals and crash for workers. It should also have maternity home, its own printing press, khadi depot and residential quarters. Moreover, the union should run right school for the general and scientific education of workers. They should teach the workers the science of conducting a successful trade. Besides, capital should be labour's servant and not the master. The aim of constructive program was to elevate the status of labour.
Adivasis. The term Adivasi derives from the Hindi word Adi, which means of earliest times or from the beginning, and Vasi meaning inhabitant or resident, and it was coined in the 1930s. Mahatma Gandhi was interested in promoting the Adivasi culture, fact that the simplicity and characterized Gandhi's life, and his love for nature was similar to the Adivasis' lifestyle. The Adivasis are the original inhabitants whose material position is perhaps no better than that of Harijans and who have long been victims of neglect on the part of the so-called high classes. And Adivasis should have found a special place in the constructive program. Adivasis is the collective name used for the many indigenous peoples of India. Officially, Adivasis are termed scheduled tribes. Service of Adivasis was also included in the constructive program. Gandhi clarified that work is not merely humanitarian, but it is a national service. Lepers. Leper is a word for a person who has leprosy, an infectious skin disease. Leprosy causes bumps and wounds on under the skin that gradually spread can cause muscle weakness, nerve damage, and paralysis. If not treated effectively, it can result in the loss of body parts and eventually death. Leprosy is known to occur at all ages ranging from early infancy to very old age. Gandhi believed that leprosy is not contagious and pleased to use a predicament before the people living in ashram at the morning prayers. Leper is a word of bad odor. Gandhi felt that youth urgently need to pay attention to this long neglected condition of the lepers. Non-violent society is not possible unless everybody enjoys the equal status and opportunities. If we are to construct non-violent social order, we will have to cultivate compassion, love, and service towards the economically and physically weaker and diseased people. In order to generate non-violent strength among the masses through constructive work, Gandhi had established many institutions, each with a specific goal. And the main function of these organizations was to promote, encourage, and supervise the activities of constructive programs.
According to Gandhi, the current education is unnatural, and to acquire knowledge in foreign language in place of mother tongue is waste of time for students. Gandhi set out clear program to train and prepare the students who are the future leaders of the nation. As to what they should do, should not do, students in opinion should keep away from party politics, political tricks, and coercive and sacred ways. They should take spinning, use Khadi village products, learn the national language, and enrich their mother tongue.
To conclude, Gandhi recognized the value of constructive program and used it successfully as early as the first year of campaigns in South Africa 1984. In fact, many people do many things, big and small, without connecting them with non-violence or independence. They have then their limited value as expected. The same man appearing as a civilian may be of no consequence, but appearing in his capacity as general, he is a big personage, holding the lives of millions at his mercy.